This monstrous TV is the Samsung QN90D, their 2024 Neo QLED TV. And here's a super quick real-world test on it. But first things first, coffee. Check. Now, regardless of the size of the Samsung QN90D, this will still be relevant as they all have the same features. First thing you'll notice about it, though, is just how small the bezels are, which on this 98-inch version of the TV just seems more impressive and almost jarring, really. Now, the thickness comes down a lot to the technology that they're using here, which they call quantum mini LEDs, or QLED. Basically, they've taken the traditional package of the LED with a lens and all of that and managed to shrink it down to about 1/40th of the size, which means that they can have a lot more mini LEDs, which we'll talk about the benefits of that in a sec. Now, for software, we are running on what's called Tizen OS, and in Tizen 8, the UI is broken up into a few hubs, they're called. They're all pretty much organized in the same way, with a few apps that you can pin to the top and then a stream of content that their algorithm shows, but you'll probably never use beneath that, basically. Instead, you'll just search for the app that you want to use, whether that's a streaming service on the Home Hub, fitness and IoT ones on the Daily Plus Hub, or game streaming services on the Game Hub. And regardless of the odd software layout, everything runs well. It's super bright and actually has a brighter panel than last year's model. And beyond that, the picture quality is impressive, as you'd hope from a TV like this. Now again, the mini LEDs in here not only have a benefit of the TV being thinner, but they can also fit more of them on the display. Now, normally you have a certain number of dimming zones, they're called, that can be brightened and darkened to show brighter and darker areas of the screen. Now, when you have a lot, you can actually more precisely control what gets lit up and what doesn't. A practical way of seeing this is when you have a bright object against a dark background, and you can see a blooming effect as the light from the LEDs bleeds out to the darker areas. And so in this case, they have more granular control and they can reduce that effect. Now, for color, Samsung uses a quantum dot layer on top of the micro LED panel, which is the Q in the name QLED. Without getting too technical, it allows them to produce more colors than usual. Samsung claims over 1 billion. The TV is also set up really well for gaming, as it has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports that support 4K 120 FPS with ultra-low lag and HDR. It'll even let you go up to 144 Hz if you have a PC that supports that. But while the sound quality is good, and I think most people will be happy with it right out of the box, I also turned on the AI sound features and feel like that did actually help a little bit with the sound feeling a bit more full, but it could still feel a bit more full. Maybe it's because the TV is so thin, it's hard to get bass out of the speakers inside the TV. For example, in movies where there's a ton of action, my friends and I noticed that it could just be more punchy than it was. Again, most people will probably be fine with it, but if you want better sound, I'd maybe just grab a sound bar. Truthfully, this is a great TV, and not bad for the price at most of the available sizes. Basically, all of them except for this 98-inch, making it the option only if you just have money to burn, or you're making a cinema in your house, or maybe you just want to use it as a Mandalorian-like backdrop. Follow if you aren't already for more tech videos and exploring, and I'm going to sink into the couch now and catch up on some other shows I've been neglecting. Night.